So let me tell you what we will do as these storm clouds gather. Our first duty is to protect the people of Scotland. This coming Wednesday, the Tory Chancellor, cheered on by his Liberal deputy, will announce the most ferocious series of cuts witnessed in our lifetimes. There's nothing to be gained from sugarcoating this. It will be hard, it will be deep, and it will hurt. It risks ripping the social fabric of our nation. But we will not let that occur. So let me tell you what we shall do. As John Swinney has been making clear, there will have to be pay restraint. We have a fixed budget. We must balance the books. To do that, we must restrict our spending. Pay will certainly be part of that. And that's why when households are under such pressure, I do not want to land people with another tax punch. Through the Concordat, we have worked with local authorities in a manner never before thought possible. We have struck a new deal between the tiers of government in Scotland. I believe that to be a success, and we have done so while freezing the council tax. While inflation goes up, VAT goes up, and times are uncertain, there is no way that the households of Scotland should suffer more. For the next 2 years, the freeze is on. Council tax bills doubled under first Tory and then Labour, but they have not risen under the SNP. And if this is to be a defining issue of the coming election, then so be it. But I wish to do more. I can't declare a living wage for every Scot, much as I'd like to do so. But where our powers extend, I can act. As of August this year, every core worker in the Scottish Government was paid over the living wage target of £7.15 an hour. We took that decision because it was the right thing to do. Conference, I can announce today we shall approach this pay round, seeking to ensure that every wage packet controlled directly by the Scottish Government through the National Health Service, the government agencies, will meet the living wage target. Because where we have power to protect when times are tough, then we shall protect the most vulnerable. And people tell me, delegates, no matter where I am in this nation, the one thing they dread is the thought of feeling vulnerable in their own communities. People deserve to feel safe in their homes, in their streets and in their lives. So it was a source of great pride when we delivered the 1,000 extra police officers to the streets of Scotland, 1,000 more bobbies. With crime at a 32-year low, that has worked. And I'll not see that security for the people evaporate in the heat of the Cameron Clegg cuts. 25% of police expenditure goes on headquarters functions. We have 8 forces in Scotland, one of which covers almost half the population. In times such as these, we must protect the front line, and therefore I make this pledge. If it comes down to a choice between cops and bureaucracy, between bobbies on the beat and the boundaries of police authorities, then with me it's simple. It's policemen first, safety first, communities first, bobbies before boundaries. And the number one service in any society is the health service. Much of our ill health is not through personal mistakes, it's because of a lottery of poverty, poor chances, low opportunity. Nobody chooses to be ill, and that's why nobody should choose to make the ill suffer more. Therefore, it's a source of considerable pride that we will protect the National Health Service revenue budget. A third of the banknotes in the Scottish bloc have the promise to pay the National Health Service. I'm not about to break that promise. Under the SNP, the National Health Service gets the entire National Health Service budget. And so we will protect the values which I believe are shared by all of the people of Scotland. That means we have to be clever, smart, adaptable. We'll economise on police bureaucracy to protect the front line. We'll economise on NHS management to protect the front line. I understand for some, of course, that news will be tough. But I'm clear that when it comes to protecting our people and to protecting our values, then we have to protect the nurse in the ward, the police officer in the community. So, Conference, we can protect, we can act, and we can innovate. Scottish Water, that's one such innovation. The cry was to either sell it or to keep it public, and that was all. Well, you know, that's not good enough. You can't govern by black and white, but either or. Leadership is more complicated. So Scottish Water will be developed. This is not just a utility, successful though it is, but an agency which can develop and utilise our precious water resources for commercial and humanitarian benefit. So let me tell you now, and let me leave no room for any misunderstanding. Our water will not be privatised, not a tap and not a drop. Instead, our water, Scotland's water, will drive our economy, drive our international obligations, protect our environment for the foreseeable future. It will become a dynamic agency, linking the economic potential of water and renewables, such as that we develop a publicly owned company which will command respect around the world. Now is the time for more fresh thinking like that. One man who grasps this is probably the world's most famous economist, Nobel laureate Joseph Stiglitz. He's the one who said recently that the UK state squandered its oil when it should have invested for the future. He's the one who argues that to get out of crisis, government should now be taking advantage of the low cost of capital to invest in the future. He's a very, very smart guy indeed. Conference, I can tell you today that Joe Stiglitz has agreed to advise the Scottish Government on our country's economic future. A Nobel Prize-winning economist backing Scotland. But I know that we have to start an even bigger job, the job of reimagining our society. For the money that flowed in the last decade will take a long time to flow again. And the shift of age and peoples and demand continues, and the idea that we can just stay the same is not on. We need new ideas for these new financial circumstances. And that's why I'm delighted to announce a new commission, the Commission into the Future of Public Services. Much has been said about the big society. I'm more concerned by the fair society. And I'm concerned in the rush to adapt, good things could be lost. So I've turned to Campbell Christie, the former Secretary-General of the Scottish Trade Union Congress. I've asked him to chair a commission into our public services. I do not believe that on a question so great, so important, it should fall to party political positioning alone. I do believe that Campbell will offer an independent, considered and wise view of how we go forward. He will look at how we delivered services in the new financial landscape, but he'll do it while maintaining our social democratic ethos.